Yo, 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 what it do, what it is, what it be like, baby? It's your boy HorrorSpice with another horror review, Geeked Up style. And today I will be covering the highly anticipated Evil Dead Rises, the next film in the Evil Dead series about 10 years after previous release in 2013. The 2013 release is often classified as a remake, and we will get into that later, but first, let's hop into the review. Evil Dead Rises brings us a reunion between two estranged sisters, Ellie and Beth, whose family time gets cut short due to the rise of flesh-possessing demons. A volume of the Naturum de Monto is found by one of the kids and forces a family into a battle for survival and faces them with their worst nightmare imaginable. The tormenting takes place in an apartment, which is a different setting from the rest of the series and honestly gives me a claustrophobic feeling. The story kicks off when a series of records in a volume of the Naturum de Monto are found by Danny in a vault discovered from the aftermath of an earthquake. Danny, who has the aspirations of being a DJ, is compelled to play the records and investigate what was found in the vault. Not the smartest thing to do after being told by their sister Bridget to get rid of it and to not indulge in the gruesome images and scripts found in the book. Danny does not comply and plays the records backwards and realizes when it's too late that they may have unleashed something that was meant to be kept in a basement vault. The demon wastes no time and takes over Alyssa Sutherland's character Ellie, who plays the mom. Ellie's character is dealing with a recent divorce and the hardships of being a single mother of three. Ellie was probably the best part of the film. Prior to the possession, Ellie gives us a warm felt but struggling look into their recent troubles and how she's managing. Something that can be relatable to a lot of single parents and something I wish the storyline would have went more in depth in. Possessed Ellie, on the other hand, gives us an eerie, dark, and petrifying look into possession while showing us the gratification of being possessed. We see possessed Ellie embrace the hurt, depression, guilt, and other emotions in order to pray. Possessed Ellie, or Deadeye Ellie, still loves her kids and wants to be stopped, but that is something that is often shown in possession movies so that the protagonist is caught off guard and even the viewers. From the one-liners, makeup to choreography of movement, I legit feel chills from most of the scenes that Ellie performed in. Honestly, before the possession, she's really not that bad to look at. One of the scenes that stood out to me is when she called her kids titty-sucking parasites, and really, it doesn't get more gruesome than that. The subplot that we are given but not necessarily needed is the pregnancy of Ellie's sister, Beth, who is a guitar-playing, groupie, equipment repairer. Honestly, I have no idea. There are so many plot holes in this story, but honestly, who cares? Beth is portrayed as selfish and maybe someone who runs away from problems, but is also granted with the essence of being strong-willed and a hard worker that her siblings will need to depend on. That strong will forces Beth to be a pregnant, demon-fighting savior, which I'm sure was the last thing on her mind when wanting to return home. I must say that this movie is on par with the gore and kills, but completely overshadows the lack of story. While watching this, I often felt myself questioning the plot and why this family was chosen in the first place. In previous installments, there are darker struggles such as addiction and depression that set a darker tone, but are also provided with comedic elements that made the characters and storyline likable. Evil Dead Rises tries to hit those same targets, but comes off as a mainstream horror in my opinion. You can say that the director had all the ingredients for the Evil Dead franchise, but lacked the proper temperature. This movie could have easily been named any other possession movie, and the lack of storyline does not help. Evil Dead Rises could have been named The Possession of Ellie in Apartment such and such. When this film announced that children would be involved in the storyline, I expected more emotional and high-tension scenes from being tormented by a demon, but the plot holes makes us feel as if these are just random people fending for themselves in an apartment. The disconnect of the family is pretty disheartening and really just kills the story. And honestly, I thought that they were in an orphanage or something like that. I mean, to go with the plot holes, honestly, what was the point of the lake house scene in the beginning and end? I get that the director wanted to draw the audience in with quick kills, but at the same time, the lake house kills were cool, but ultimately unnecessary and is the only compliment to the recent installments, minus a few other things. The rest of the film could have honestly been its own franchise or just a random horror movie. Honestly, I don't see how they can build off this story, but we're going to receive another installment, but I don't really know where the story goes from here. Outside of enjoying the gore and the kills, the playing of the records backwards in order to get the Possession Olympics kicked off was pretty solid. I can't front. Director Lee Cronin brings us one of the most anticipated releases of 2023, and I'm happy to have seen it on the big screen, but am somewhat disappointed in the final product. I like saying such as the new monster at the end of the film. Who doesn't like a possessed, warped, fucking human spider thing. I honestly don't know what it is. I don't even want to go on my Google and search that and have that energy in my house. I mean, I did have it in my house. I watched it, but you get what I'm saying. But you know, that awesomeness is not really complimented when you have cheesy lines that Beth says when she gets the chainsaw and really does the final kill and says, only my sister can call me that. I mean, it was a little cheesy. The 2013 release is often classified as a remake to the original, but honestly, in my opinion, Evil Dead Rises will feel as if it's more of a remake or a requel to me, because of the elements of the original are tied to the film, but Evil Dead Rises often tries to drift into his own franchise or really just change the franchise. As I stated earlier, this plot takes place in an apartment, whereas other installments have taken place on campgrounds or really just in the woods. The 2013 installment is not considered a remake due to quote by the director Fede Alvarez, which he described the 2013 installment as a dubbed reimagining of the Evil Dead 1981, which after seeing Evil Dead Rises, that is way more believable now. Now, to answer the question, would I watch this again? And the answer is yes, but not as a installment of the Evil Dead franchise, but more so as a random horror film or as a suggestion for someone looking for a horror but hasn't seen the original Evil Dead. That's it for us today. That's another horror review geeked up style. And be sure to like us on all streaming platforms, all DSPs. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Be sure to rate us 5 stars. We're going to have some new stuff coming out soon. We just hit 1,000 followers on Twitter. We love all y'all. We appreciate it. Be tuned for the next one. Peace.